Watch more, feel more. Dell.
Wow, that is some compelling viewing of T20 cricket between India and Pakistan. The contest, at least for the first 20 overs, has lived up to the hype, which is not always the case in India Pakistan matches at ICC events. 151, though, would please Babar Azam, you'd think, after the stats nugget that Shan Masood left us on the pre show on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN 140 T20 timeout powered by Dell. It is still less than the highest score chased at the Dubai ground, but 3 for 30 at one stage, 151 for 7 at the end of it. Ajit Agarkar first up. Are you going to take those runs, Ajit? 151 if you're India.
Yes, I think so. I mean, after both Rahul and Rohit getting out cheaply, and then Surya, yeah, ideally they would have liked another 10, maybe 15 more. But from where they were, 150 in these high pressure games, a couple of early wickets, you never know how things unfold. So they'd be hoping there's no due. That'll make their life a little bit easier. They're certainly short, but from where they were at one stage, I think India will take it.
Yeah, what a start that was, Shan, with Shaheen Afridi on absolute fire. The end of it, India still managed to get to something. Would you take that still if you're Pakistan?
Look, you would, like I said, anything around the par score, Pakistan would be happy with it. But with the start they got, another wicket or two after that power play. I think Pakistan didn't get a middle over wicket till in the seventh over after the power play. So that's something that Pakistan would probably, in terms of looking at what they missed, was that early middle over wicket that could have really put India on the back foot. But nevertheless, incredible performance with the ball and in the field.
What a compelling 20 overs that was, Tom. Moody could almost feel the tension from these two sets of players. It seemed to take the T20 manual out of it and just we had to just watch the contest. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, I saw it two very good sides going head to head in an incredibly important game. There's more to this game than just obviously World Cup points leading towards trying to find themselves in the final. We all know there's huge history in matches with India and Pakistan, and we weren't let down at all. Just the intensity of the game, the intensity of the way the bowlers were bowling, the fielders were fielding, and the batters were, fighting, particularly early on, fighting to stop the avalanche of pressure that Pakistan were putting on India.
Yeah, right. There's so much event in those 20 overs. We've almost covered a lot of it in this halftime show. Let's start with Shaheen Afridi's opening spell. Ajit Agarkar, you'd have enjoyed that as a fast bowler, even if it was against India.
No, absolutely. I think he's one of the stars in world cricket. There's no doubt about it, and that was always going to be the danger for India. Left arm, world class quick, even though he's so young, getting the ball to come back in and bowling at serious speeds, and they couldn't cope with it. I mean, two really good players, two world class players in Rohit and KL Rahul, weren't good enough to keep those balls out. So yeah, exactly the start Pakistan wanted. The intensity from Pakistan was exceptional. Even in the field, you could see it, and they were rewarded with it.
He's just 21, Shan, and he wouldn't have had as many contests with this sort of hype and whatnot, but he seems to know what he needs to do.
Yeah, he knows he has his own game plan, and that's the best thing. And he follows it. He backs it. He knows he's that leading bowler when it comes to bowling with the new ball in T20 cricket. And it's as if you just have to play. You have to start your innings off as a test match when you're opening the innings against Shaheen Shah Afridi. There wasn't a left-hander today in, but he's equally good against the left-handers as well because he's taking the ball away. Different lengths to left-handers, but again, that was quality. And Pakistan wish he could have bowled more than 4 overs.
Yeah, these are two of these standout T20 players in the world, Tom Moody and Rohit and Rahul, but they do not play Shaheen Afridi in the IPL, in bilateral cricket. Somewhere that becomes a factor, the lack of how much these great Indian T20 batters have played some terrific Pakistani bowlers.
Yeah, look, I think there is an element of that where you don't get, I suppose, set in a rhythm against an opponent. But I think anyone that can bowl left arm at that pace and can swing it is always going to cause any top order batsman, regardless how good they are, some issues, particularly early on in their innings. Once they get set and they're balanced, it's a lot easier. But, most right-handers against that type of delivery are always just going to slightly tip their head over the offside and leave that opening for the in-swinging delivery. It's a rare ball to be able to bowl. We don't see it that often. When we do see it, it's brilliant to watch because it is just it's A grade. It's A grade material.
Yeah, I'm gonna go one India, one Pakistan here. So we'd start Shaheen Afridi. We'll move to Virat Kohli. Then I'll try and get Haris Rauf and Rishabh Pant into the conversation too. There's so much to discuss. But that Virat Kohli innings, there's a lot that's been written and said on whether Virat Kohli is actually ideal for a T20 lineup if he's batting at three and whatnot. Ajit Agarkar, that innings had two halves to it, but that first half was mightily important.
Yeah, he's always up for these sorts of games, and India was in massive trouble. I think another wicket at that stage. I don't think India gets anywhere close to that 150. Yeah, a lot of talk about how he fits in the team, but that's exactly the difference. You saw yesterday, once West Indies lost a couple of wickets, there was nobody to hold that innings together. They just folded 50 odd yesterday. Virat Kohli, of course, great of this game, so he knows the situations, and he was thankfully for India that he was there. Not only he scored the 50 or whatever he did, but just could face world class bowling because he's a good enough player. At that stage, Pakistan really had their tail up. So, uh, I mean, I can't believe people doubt that his place in the team, whether he fits in
Yeah.
this T20 team at number three. It's a little bit silly.
Yeah, it's an interesting innings, and we've seen it in the IPL. No one can doubt the importance of the first half, Tom. But when he's played 49 balls, you're thinking, God, are we going to see the best of Kohli? Is he going to unleash? That didn't quite come. How do you sum up the Kohli innings?
Oh, look, I think he just stamped his class on this match. It was difficult early on. You lose two of your, key form players in the very early stages of such a high-profile match. Kohli steps above the pressure, and he just did what needed to be done. He showed great maturity and a lot of class in what he did to just set the ship back on course. Could have easily spiraled out of control, but he just showed that everything was under control. When you have the presence of someone like Kohli out in the middle, it also settles the dugout. The players that are waiting to come in suddenly just can sit back in their seat with a little bit more comfort, knowing that he's got it under control and he's sort of moving the team in the right direction.
How about how Pakistan bowled to him as well, Shan? Haris Rauf seems to have picked up some new tricks up his sleeve. We don't see him bowl a lot of variations, but he's got good at them.
I think when we saw that stat, they were highlighting his qualities and said he doesn't bowl slow balls at all, and he rarely does. So that was really good to see. I think it was a mature performance. He realized the demands of the situation, and he bowled about, in his last 12 balls or something, he bowled about 9 slow balls. So that's very encouraging to see, backing a skill that he's probably practiced a lot in the background, but he hasn't really bowled in games. To bowl it in this pressure match against probably the best batsman in the world, that shows the level of maturity that Haris Rauf displayed today.
It's excellent. Was Haris Rauf. I'm going to try and get all these little cameos in this quick conversation before the second innings begins. Tom Moody, you're a celebrated coach and whatnot. Where's that one-handed six in the coaching manual that you teach all your players?
It's freakish, isn't it? He's a special talent, isn't he? Yeah, look, it is interesting because I watched it on replay once again, the straight six I'm referring to. He actually has his bottom hand on the bat, at point of contact, but then he releases it as he's trying to extend through the ball. So in a way, he is helping the shape of the shot, if I could put it that way, by extending through that way. And by all means, I'm not promoting that this is the way you should be hitting straight sixes, because there's very few people that can do it that way. But he's got his own way. He's got his own methods. A lot of people will criticise, and not the one-hand sixes, but criticise the way he got out. But that's the way that's the way that he needs to take the game on. India need him to be playing that type of game to make sure they get the maximum scores, because it was really him that managed to get the momentum back into the innings for India in the middle phase.
Yeah, he's proper box office, Rishabh Pant, Ajit Agarkar. And if India are to get on the right side of this result, they'll have their bowlers to thank. But that Pant innings is perhaps as important as Kohli's.
It is, because one, it took pressure off Kohli, so Kohli didn't have to play the big shot at that stage. He could still bat a little bit deep. And he's such an X factor, Rishabh Pant. You don't quite know what he's going to do, even as a bowler. You can't second guess, and so much ability. It's just unfortunate for India that he got out at the time that he did, because it really looked like he was going to explode. But could turn out to be a very critical inning come the end of this next 20 overs.
Shadab Khan got him eventually, and Shadab Khan bowled particularly well. So, a word on that, Shan, from you, and also whether you've ever managed to hit one of these freakish one-handed sixes in the times that you played.
Never, never. I think we'll have to speak to Rishabh Pant and see what goes through his mind when he's doing that. Just incredible skill. Shadab, that wicket was very important. But like we said, if Pakistan missed out on a trick, that was to get that early wicket in the middle overs. But eventually they did. But what that innings allowed was, like Ajit Bhai said, it allowed Virat Kohli to bat deep and give India that score on the board that they required.
152 to get. Now, the tough part. What are we going to expect in the second innings? Tom, you spoke of this Kookaburra ball suddenly seeming to do something with the new ball. It happened for Shine. Is it going to happen for India and Bhuvaneshwar Kumar? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I think we'll see some swing. It was certainly there in the first inning, so I can't see any reasons why, the likes of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar can't get the ball to move early on. That's going to be a threat. So, there's no doubt Pakistan would have talked about the threat of the new ball and getting through that. Yeah, now they're not chasing a total of 170 plus. They can really set a solid foundation without trying to take too many risks. So around that 40 to 45 mark in the power play will set them up nicely.
It's one of those scores, Shan, 150, or if you're chasing 170, you know how to start. 150. Would you expect Pakistan to take it easy? There's the pressure of a big game against India. Do you expect them to come out hard against India's bowlers?
Look, I think the best thing for Pakistan is this is something that suits Babar Azam and Rizwan batting together, and them batting for a longer time. The longer they bat, the easier it will be for Pakistan. So Pakistan would be hoping they get them off to a great start.
Just 5 bowlers, Ajit Agarkar. Can they defend this?
Yes, they can defend this. Of course, they'll have to be at their absolute best, though. I think this is at this point, the way it's set up, it's probably Pakistan's to lose. India don't quite have enough, but these pressure games turn out quite different.
Yeah. Give me a prediction then, gentlemen. Ajit, India or Pakistan?
Yeah, at the moment, you'd have to say Pakistan's ahead.
All right. Shan, India or Pakistan?
Pakistan's ahead at the moment.
Tom?
Yep, I'm going there. They've got their nose in front.
All right. Pakistan's game to lose. Pakistan's record to try and break now at this point. So let's see if it happens. And join us at the end of it all on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. The first 20 overs was great viewing. Let's hope the next 20 are too.
Watch more. Feel more. Dell.